Happy Halloween, folks. As you can see, myself and Gav here have come dressed up with a couple of weary middle-aged men, and I think we're pulling it off quite spectacularly, Gav. But we're still, we're still nowhere near as scary as a Dermot Desmond statement. That'd put a chill up the spine, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Listen, welcome to Game On, your quick-fire, hot-take podcast from the Daily Record. I'm Michael Gannon. This is Gavin Berry. As always, and as usual, we're going to get our fangs into all the Scottish sporting matters.
Yeah.
Feel like it, Gav, did you? Can't avoid the Halloween stuff. But listen, never mind Dermot's blast. We've had some fan mail of our own, Gav, and I think some people had a wee moan about the Game On whistle.
Yeah.
But the whole point of the show is we're up against the whistle.
You're not used to people whistling at you, Michael?
Well, I don't get that very often. I'm just thinking that the fact that I'm with the middle-aged men routine, it's the old grey whistle, old grey men whistle test, old grey hair whistle test. But we'll have a look at the whistle. We'll wait and see.
We'll change it a horn or something.
Well, yes, we could have the horn. We couldn't. Maybe a cheer or something like that. Wait and see. We'll have a think about it. I get the point. We do tend to ignore the whistle anyway, don't we?
Absolutely.
But listen,
you do.
Enough of this whistling anyway. Let's get the show up and running. We'll start. I think where else can we start? But the nightmare on Kennydale Street. Brendan Rodgers' dramatic departure on Monday night, and the kind of, as I touched on, the scathing statement that followed from Dermot Desmond. Clearly, the two of them had a big major falling out, and the club have parted ways. But first up, who's to blame for the big breakdown between Brendan Rodgers and the board?
Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah,
I go back to actually way back, Michael. You'll know better. You've been there every step of the way. I go way back to you in Como. Actually, I think that was maybe one of the first pieces you wrote.
Good old days of Como.
Como, yeah.
The sunshine of Lake Como.
Yeah. Sorry to take you back there.
Sorry, I was away there myself.
As the rain bounces off the pavement there. No, back to Como. I think that was the first time you maybe wrote the piece of the sort of transfer frustration. I remember that day. That was pre-season.
Yeah.
So way back to pre-season. Whether that was the first, it was. There were many of them all throughout pre-season, right up until the transfer window closed. After the transfer window was shut, the Honda Civic, obviously recently, all those constant jibes. I just think Dermot Desmond's statement, which was absolutely unbelievable, was just a build-up of, you can only take so much, and it was just an explosion of the pent-up anger towards that. Because there's no doubt what Brendan Rodgers was saying constantly, all those wee jibes, it did help fuel the anger towards the executive board. So, and listen, Dermot Desmond, influential in bringing Brendan Rodgers to Celtic first time around, certainly in bringing him back. I think he's probably feeling a bit let down.
Yeah, I get that point. But listen, I think what you'll have, you've only got the kind of the Desmond statement right now. We haven't heard yet from Brendan Rodgers. I'd imagine he will say he was wanting the best for the club in terms of the highest level of recruitment and the best players. I'm not sure how much money he was demanding he was spending. I don't think he was wanting £15 million players, but he wanted, rather than the usual 2 or 3 million, 10 players at 2 million or 3 million, he wanted 3 or 4 at 8 or 9. Didn't happen. There was obviously a breakdown over the summer. Went from, as David admitted, they were talking about keen on getting a new contract in the summer. Then obviously that kind of relationship has broken down over the summer. The recruitment hasn't been good enough. Rodgers has been fairly vocal about it. I don't think he was overly harsh. I think he's been fairly honest, probably too honest, but that's what you get. But I think it's, if you're going to get a high-level manager, a high-profile manager, he's going to be high maintenance, and Celtic haven't been quite maintaining him. Therefore, you'll get the truth will lie somewhere in between. So I think Celtic's problems are a multi-level kind of breakdown. Really, I think it's a strategy in the boardroom. The way the money's spent, not how much it's spent, do spend money, but the way it's spent, the timing of it spent, the recruitment, I think, has not been good enough. The manager's been unhappy with all the situation. He's not helped himself as well by some of his public utterances, and by the way, the team's performances on the pitch should have been better regardless of the recruitment. Yeah. So I think it's at every level. I think Celtic have underperformed this season, and that's the reason why it's fell apart. The relationship is severed, and I think it's. But I think everyone's to blame, basically.
Okay. What will be his legacy, Brendan Rodgers? Is this going to taint it?
No, I think obviously it's the short term now. It's a kind of it's probably still in the raw stage. I think that when time passes, I think people should look back on Brendan Rodgers' 2 periods as nothing but incredibly successful.
Yeah.
Sometimes dramatic, Obviously, the way they ended both times.
Was that 11 trophies out of 13?
11 out of 13 trophies, a penalty kick from 12.
Yeah.
You see the progress in Europe last season, kind of in the Champions League. I thought Celtic were in a good place in Europe last year. I think history should be kind to him. I think he'll be regarded as a guy who was box office when they had the 30,000 crowd when he first arrived in his first spell. The highs of the kind of invincible season. Some of the football players, I think, in the calendar year 2024, I thought Celtic's football was sensational. Only 2 defeats.
Yeah.
Some of the performances were the amount of goals they scored. That was kind of peak Rodgers, peak Celtic. I think people will actually miss him more in time, because I think Celtic might start to kind of revert towards maybe the norm, which is the last 20 years hasn't been the norm. It's been, pretty much utter dominance. And I think people will look back and think he made winning trophies look easy. And it isn't easy.
No.
Yes, there was the kind of moments and the kind of egos clashing and all that stuff, but I think in time, I think he'll be looked on favourably as a one of the all-time greats.
And although it's not Celtic's fault, we do have to say that he was up against a Rangers side over his 2 spells that wasn't as strong as other Celtic managers have faced. I'm not saying it's a fault. I'm just saying.
See that, but then so you any achievement you make in football, there's caveat. So when Rangers win 9 in a row, you say, well, Celtic were rubbish during that 9 in a row. They only finished second once. So does that matter then? So is Walter Smith's record diminished then?
No, but I think people did.
Wait, I'm asking the question.
No, but people mentioned it. People did mention at the time. Did
people even know that Celtic finished second once in 9 years?
It was a strong Aberdeen.
You can't have it, but it's not that easy.
Michael, did you hear that whistle?
I did hear the whistle.
That's it.
People always go, he's up against nothing.
Did you hear that whistle?
He just got to a European final.
I didn't say that. I just said you have to take into account. That's
you can't just go move the goalposts.
I didn't. Listen, I think success.
So you get the history book that says 1958 champions, asterisk, but the rest of them are rubbish.
No. But we're discussing it. No, but we're discussing it. It's not just in black and white anyway.
No, but his legacy isn't affected by anyone else's. Team's been rubbish. Don't say, 1938 championship was a great year for Dumbarton, but the rest of them are rubbish. You can't do that.
The whistle's gone. Anyway, who should be the next Celtic boss? Who should be the next Celtic boss? Come on.
Next Celtic boss, who should it be? Listen, that's 2 questions, isn't it? It's like, who should it be and who will it be?
Okay, we'll answer both then.
I don't know.
Who will it be?
Who will it be?
Don't say Sean Maloney. Fans won't buy it, will they?
Well, I wouldn't be too surprised. I mean, depending on how Martin and Neil and Sean Maloney do the next few weeks, they might buy a bit of breathing space off. So we'll get to the cup weekend in a minute. No, I think the Celtic job is a job for somebody with. I mean, the chat is, and Martin Neil dropped this little. He's great at dropping little nuggets, isn't he, Martin Neil? Try and get you off the scent. But a young manager. I'm not sure it's a job for a young manager.
No.
I know there's been a lot of talk about Kieran McKenna. I think there's hurdles to be cleared for that one. I'm not so sure about that one. I think he's a good young manager, but I'm not sure. The problem that Celtic are going to have is that I think they need a huge character, a strong presence. I mean, you see like your Rodgers, your Ange Postecoglou's, vastly experienced, big characters. But again, it goes back to what we're saying. Those kind of characters are quite high maintenance.
Yeah.
So the board going to kind of force their own kind of the mythical model on the guy,
and hard to attract.
It's difficult. I think some of the names that are constantly bouncing out there, kind of Marco Reus, is an interesting one out of work. Played good football with Dortmund and Leipzig and all that stuff. He would handle it. The guys like Knutson at Bodo Glint, for some reason he loves it up there. I just don't see him getting dragged out of there. I know his contract's up in December,
but
he's in the Champions League till January. He's not going to walk out.
You get Martin Neil.
Well, that's what been Celtic. So who's it going to be?
I fancy him.
Martin Neil at 73?
No, sorry. Knutson.
Yeah, but his contract's up in December, but the Champions League games go on to January. He's not going to walk away from his first Champions League adventure at Bodo. I think he does it every time his contract's up. He goes, I fancy a wee challenge abroad, and they give him a new contract.
Yeah.
I just think he knows that he's created that special environment, and it might not translate elsewhere.
I agree with that. I mean, there's no doubt there's an element of a gamble. Maybe he just it's a bit like Rosenborg when they were successful during the 90s with the legendary manager Niels Eggen. Would he have done it elsewhere, or was it just a good fit?
Yeah.
So I think there is that argument, but I'd like to see it. And he's done so well in Europe, which is where Celtic want to make an impact.
Yeah, I just don't see that one either, to be honest with you. So we'll basically say we don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know, but Celtic don't know either. So we're decent company.
That's true. But Rangers did make an appointment after Russell Martin's disastrous short time in charge. Danny Rohl was the man that's come in, Michael.
Yeah.
Back-to-back wins in the league. Do you think they're
needed.
already in better shape? Well, definitely much needed. Obviously, that. I mean, he only had them a couple of days when he lost to Brann. But do you think they're looking in better shape despite that debut?
You know what? I actually do. I do. I think, especially the Hibs game the other night. I mean, the first clean sheet in a year away from home.
Away from home, yeah.
Was it
In all competitions?
26 games or
25,
something?
I think it was 25, yeah.
I mean, that's incredible, isn't it, really? No wonder they've been struggling.
And there's something to be said for that. Just to get a clean sheet away from home.
And by the way, it did require a late penalty save from Jack Butland. So, I mean, who, by the way, his record in penalties has been amazing in recent years.
But to go to Easter Road, midweek,
big win,
under the lights, Hibs going well. I think it's actually flown under.
Did you think they looked a bit? I mean, listen, you don't want to keep Halloween theme. We don't want to dance in the guy's grave, but do you know, I think they looked a bit better organised than they were under Russell Martin. Or I thought it looked far better organised.
Oh, completely. It's night and day. But I mean, and that is the thing about I think there's no way those players were playing for Russell Martin. You could tell whatever he was telling them, they just weren't buying into it. They looked totally disorganised, and that is a sign of just a competent manager has just been able to come in and organise. It's just getting the basics. I mean, there was even a few times in the game in midweek where some of the defenders were just hoofing the ball away. No, just punt up the park, just because that was what was, that because that's what was required at that time. Yeah, but they weren't necessarily doing that. There was under Russell Martin. I think just basics, getting basics right, and it's a starting point. I know Danny Rohl himself has said that small step, but those small steps are important.
Do you think there's a sense that some kind of some players in that squad also have had a kind of boost from the change of management? I know it's only early days under Russell Martin.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see a kind of weight off some of their shoulders?
Oh, definitely. Totally. As I said to you before, it's clear that the confidence had just gone from that squad. They were just shorn of all confidence under Russell Martin. So that. And that's where Danny Rohl, I suppose his job is made slightly easier when you just come in and players are probably glad to see the back of another manager. It makes life a bit easier because right away you've got them on side.
Yeah.
And then then from there it's then up to him. I'm not saying no, they're not. They've got a long way to go.
You're sitting there back. You said Rangers are back.
I did not.
So we'll move on. Gav says Rangers are back. We'll hold him to that one if any bumps on the road. But listen, they're looking. I mean, let's talk about a coach for a minute, to help bolster the backroom team. A few Scottish names in the mix. Do you think that is something that is needed in that background? You need a kind of a Rangers Scottish. I think
sometimes we put too much emphasis on that. In Scottish football, the whole kind of chest beat stuff and get a Rangers man in or get a Celtic man in. I don't think it's essential. I don't think it's something that Danny Rohl should just go and do for the sake of it. I think if there is someone out there, probably Neil McCann or maybe even Stephen Davis, the two names mentioned, I think both of them could be assets to him, but you've got to be on the same page. I mean, they've probably never met before. What is their philosophy? You can't just go and say we need to get a Rangers man, then you go, it might then have a negative impact on the dynamic. Who knows, depending on they're thinking on the game. But if it was somebody like Neil McCann or Stephen Davis who could come in and offer something and he felt it was beneficial, then fine. If it's just getting somebody in to teach them the words of Four Lads Had a Dream or Simply the Best, then no. Or to go off the bus and say, well, we take it, or go off the bus at Celtic Park, so we take a right rather than a left, or no, there's no point in that. Look, guys like
I take the point because you actually look back at the Rangers managers who have failed. They've all had somebody in there, haven't they? I mean, Clement had Alec Ray, didn't he?
But did they
Mark
fail?
Warburton had David Weir.
But did they fail because of that? I mean,
no, I think. But I think what I was going to say, I'm going to contradict myself. I think having those guys in there, I think it is a help because it's. I mean, clubs like Rangers are such a unique position that I think a lot of guys coming from further afield And I hate this phrase. Oh, they get it. They get it. Right. What does that actually mean? Right?
I
I mean,
know.
it's all about winning games. I mean, they get it. What do they get?
They get it.
What, they got the full away kit. What
Yeah.
do they get? But I do think that having somebody who does know what it takes in this, because it is a place. I mean, I think sometimes we've seen foreign managers at both sides of Glasgow, and they get a bad result, and they're kind of going, why is this place on fire? It's like a draw. It's a Mirren.
Yeah.
Why is it? It's not a crisis. It's not. Well, no, it is a crisis. That's the thing. I just think I don't think it hurts having somebody in there at ground level who is.
But does he need to be a coach? I mean, see if you think back to Dick Advocaat when he was manager of Rangers. I mean, John Gregg was still kind of active around. You know, you had somebody like, and I know he was a big influence on. You know, but he's not a coach. You know, so I mean, you need somebody like that. You need to employ somebody to tell you a draw's a.
I know, but I just think in terms of a club's identity as well. I think you want to have a core of players. Who are I think ideally you want a core of players who are. I'm not saying Rangers are Celtic minded. I'm saying maybe Scottish and know the script, and a coach as well. An extension of that is a link between the players and the management as well. I don't think it's any bad thing to have that, because it is a unique environment, and it has swallowed up plenty of folk through the years. So having somebody on the ground would be, I think, is a benefit. But I take your point. But listen, we're kind of dancing around all these side topics and all these kind of distractions. It's all about Sunday's showdown, to use a good tabloid term, semi-final showdown. An old firm semi-final showdown. Head to head. It's a question here: who needs it more? But I mean, Celtic fans will say Celtic, Rangers fans will say Rangers. But who do we think? Who do you mean who needs it more?
I know
they both need it.
They do both need it. I think Rangers would get more out of a victory. I think they would benefit more. Danny Rohl, you know, just in the door. Were mentioned there. He's got those back-to-back wins. I know there's a whole cliche about one game at a time, but I do think if he was to win the game on Sunday and get into the final, on paper they've got a gentle sort of run of games. You know, after that, you know, they're playing teams in the lower half of the league. I think they're away to Dundee, home to Livingston. They've got not a bad run, and I think if he could get that win on Sunday, that could be the catalyst for a run, which is what Rangers really need. You need a run of games, and that would give him the confidence. Look, if Martin
he's still got some doubters to win over, isn't he? I mean, and a lot of Rangers fans, he's a young guy. I think a few fans have warmed him already. But this would turbocharge it. I mean, he would win them over quite quickly. Definitely. It would buy him some breathing space, wouldn't it?
Look, if Martin O'Neill at 73 is an interim manager, he comes in and he beats Rangers, which he done plenty of times first time around, won loads of trophies. You know, it doesn't really change much for Celtic. It doesn't change the bigger picture. You know, it would maybe keep the fans' anger levels down a wee bit, you know, for another couple of days. But that protest against the board is not going to go away. Doesn't change much other than giving the fans a great day out at Hampden and a win over their rivals. For Rangers in the bigger picture, it's more important because of what they're trying to build, you know?
I think I would say that it's a free hit for Danny Rohl. I think he's in on the door 2 or 3 weeks. I don't think expectation levels are that high. Whereas I think Celtic at this point in time are a club saw the protest in midweek. A defeat to Rangers on Sunday, I think it explodes again. The kind of the anti-board unrest. I think it's a kind of game that could tip these protests into kind of being I'm not saying a minority of people, but you're talking a couple of thousand the other night, could be tens of thousands. I think it could end up with changes in boardrooms and all that stuff. So I think it's seismic for Celtic. I know the manager actually is kind of in no man's land at the moment. And they're waiting for the new manager to come in. So it's Celtic a club that are kind of in limbo. But I just think that if a defeat to Rangers, I haven't beat Rangers for over a year. Celtic fans are fed up waiting for a victory against Rangers. I mean, the last time they won was the League Cup final last year on penalties. So it's been a long time since they tasted the victory in an Old Firm game. I think they need it, or I think they'll be held to pay again.
So what are the big calls in at Hampden for Martin O'Neill and Danny Rohl?
Right, first of all, Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney, obviously. I think he's got big decision up front because Johnny Kenny, who I talked about having the doubters and critics, a couple of difficult performances. I mean, being busy and really works hard, but needed the goal. Gets his 2 goals against Falkirk the other night. he spoke to him after the game. His confidence levels were high. He's put his hand up. He wants to get picked for this game, but Dyson Maida is also back fit. He got off the bench the other night. So the big call is it Dyson Maida or Johnny Kenny? I suspect he might go with Johnny Kenny because he got the goals all night, and he's maybe a guy in confidence. Whereas Dyson Maida's not played much, and we know about his hassles over the summer, and his performances at the start of the season weren't great before he got injured. I think maybe you keep Maida on the bench as an impact sub if it isn't going to plan, or to stretch the game late on. The other big question I think is Kieran Tierney and Marcelo Sirachi.
I was going to say that.
Sirachi, I thought was excellent on Wednesday night against Falkirk. The caveat, Falkirk weren't very good, and played in a way that kind of suited Celtic a wee bit. I think Sirachi has been good though in most of his appearances. Now he's building fitness, but Kieran Tierney, I think Kieran Tierney will get the nod. I think he was wrapped in cotton wool.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh.
I think he was wrapped in cotton wool against Falkirk.
Better defensively.
With a view, stronger defensively, more experienced. And listen, people have been writing him off this season. There's been some good performances as well in there. It's not been perfect, but I think he's got experience, been in this fixture many times successfully. Played cup semi-finals, cup finals, played in the English Premier League, in Spain, for Scotland. This is a guy with bags experience. I think he'll get the nod. What about Rangers? Sorry, I'm rabbiting on here.
Rangers, well, I think up front as well, the issue with Conor Barron, obviously man of the match Wednesday night against Hibs, he was brilliant. Suspended, that's a blow. Diamandi probably coming in up front as well. I think that's it. Well, Danilo,
Diamandi's been good in this fixture at times.
Yeah, he has. He has. In fact, he was probably man of the match in the goal
last year.
He has been good. So. So he should start up front. I suppose the question is, Danilo looks to have played his way in. I think the other question is Chermiti, Miovski. Neither of them have done well. Chermiti still, I haven't seen.
Signs, no. I've seen more positive signs from Chermiti, no.
Chermiti, no, I haven't seen anything really. I mean, the goal, the Kamala keeper wasn't good. No, I mean, Wednesday night.
I thought he's busy the other night.
Actually, so his first touch, he doesn't even seem to be able to control the ball. For £8 million, his first touch.
Yeah. So
I think Miovski.
So Miovski and Danilo.
Yeah.
Stick with the same formation and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay. Prediction.
Oh, well, I'm going to come to that.
Okay.
I'm going to come to that. Sorry.
Right. Oh, building tension.
I'm going to come to that.
We'll look at the other CFL. Obviously, we can't forget another cracking game.
Yeah.
Two teams that I think have been terrific this season, St Mirren and Motherwell. Who comes out on top? This is a difficult one, isn't it?
It is.
How do you see this one going?
I think the first thing you have to say, Michael, is that it's a great chance. No, I don't mean a great chance just to get a final.
Yeah.
This, given, as we've mentioned already, Celtic and Rangers, neither of them been any great shakes this season. This is a chance to win the trophy for these two teams.
Yeah.
I mean, they would fancy their chance unless Celtic and Rangers, improve drastically. I think they would have a chance of winning it. I do think on Saturday, you're right, both teams going well, two different styles. Motherwell will get a lot of plaudits for their expansive football under the new manager. I fancy Motherwell to win this. I think Stephen Robinson, it was a goalless draw, I think, at Paisley in the league when they met earlier this season. I think Stephen Robinson himself said after the game that he maybe showed them a wee bit too much respect. His old team, I think you'll see St Mirren go for it a bit more, but I think that could suit Motherwell possibly. Plenty of space.
Yeah.
They could exploit the spaces, and I fancy Motherwell.
It's a fascinating cup tie, I think, because it is a contrast in styles.
Yeah.
You get the Robbo kind of angle as well. Yeah. I was actually at Motherwell's game at Livingston last weekend, and you know what? I was impressed with them, and I was impressed with them because they weren't very good, right? And this sounds daft, right? But they managed to get the result, having not played their best. I thought that was harsh on Livy, right enough, but I can see what they're doing, and I like it. And they built on that and get another result in midweek. So now they're getting the kind of possession, pretty football. Some good players, by the way. And now the results are starting to come as well. They're getting the wins, even though they're not their best, which is a good sign. So I think Motherwell are a good side. However, the way they play, I think, will fall right into Stephen Robinson's trap. I think the way they play, we suit him to a T. I think, and he's a good cup manager, Stephen Robinson, as well. He knows how to set his teams up, get results. I think he will find a way to kind of get one over his old team to get into the final. And I'm going to go with St Mirren.
Well, St Mirren actually knocked Hearts out of the League Cup.
I was there.
You were there that day?
Yes, that's part of the reason why I'm going with St Mirren as well.
And Hearts were back in Paisley in midweek, a draw on the back of the win over Celtic, which obviously sent Tynecastle into overdrive, and inevitably you knew it was coming. That's a Hearts bubble has burst. So
these questions.
what do you think? I mean, has the bubble burst?
The bubble burst.
In fact,
top of the league.
In fact, see, after that League Cup, there was a great clip from Derek McInnes when he was asked about it after the League Cup. And he says, "Is your bubble burst?" And he went, "No, my bubble is still bubbling.
I'm still bubbling.
My bubble's still bubbling."
Yeah.
It was a great answer. So
that's the reason why. That's the reason why that question's in there.
So is Derek McInnes Hearts as a title bubble still bubbling?
Absolutely not, because as I've just been talking about St Mirren, a point at Paisley is not a bad result by anyone, any point in time. There's been various times over the years when Celtic and Rangers have got a point there and been quite happy to get up the road with a point.
Yeah.
It's a hard place to go against a good team, a wily manager.
Yeah.
And actually, they did well to get a point when they were a wee bit fortunate. I mean, I think it could have been 3-1.
Yeah.
And it might have been a different story.
But how many teams have the benefit of decisions?
It's football. It's football. And again, a bit like I was saying, with Motherwell, they got a result, have maybe not been at their best.
Yeah.
But listen, the bubble, I mean, was it 26 points out of 30?
Yeah. In actual fact, after 10 games, Michael, everybody talks about the George Burley season. What if Hearts had not sacked George Burley? Well, after 10 games, Derek McInnes' team have got the exact same amount of points. And
you say he's going to get sacked? So tell me.
He's
going to get sacked.
He's going to get sacked. But in actual fact, they've got a bigger cushion over Celtic. I think it's 3 points back then, and now they've got 6. So they're in a better position. They've got the Dundee clubs back to back at home before the international break. Rangers and Celtic obviously not in action because they're in the Premier Sports Cup semi-final this weekend. What an opportunity. If they can win those 2 games at home, get into the international break, Danny McInnes was a bit in your hand off.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the great thing I think about this Hearts team is I think it's the one you're talking about, the George Burley team. I think they might have been hitting their ceiling at that point, the first 10 games of the season. I don't think this current Hearts team hit the ceiling yet. I think there's more to come.
Yeah.
I think there's more to come. Listen, it's only been less than a week since they've done a job on Celtic, which was seriously impressive.
Yeah.
The bubble is well and truly still bubbling.
Bubbling.
As Derek said. Listen, talking about getting the bubbly out, we should have had the bubbly out last week, folks. If you're tuned in, we had a wee tip at the end. The last question was a tip. So I picked Fabio Wardley to win by knockout against Joseph Parker. Gavin, you picked Real Madrid to beat Barcelona 2-1.
Yeah.
It was a 79-1 double.
Oh.
And guess what? Did you put it on, Gav?
No, I'd love someone to put in the comment that they did.
I know.
Honestly, that would help soften the blow. But did anybody listen?
Said we're going to get the bet on straight after the show,
We
and
did.
I forgot to do it.
And the producer also said he was going to put it on, and he forgot to do it. So we're texting each other on Sunday. I think you were at Well, actually, I woke up to a text message from you saying, "I can't believe my tip came in 71, and I never bet it." I went, okay, never thought anything else of it. And then later in the afternoon, I thought, well, El Clasico's on surely to go. And I'm looking and Real Madrid were 1-0 up. I went, okay. And I checked again, it was 2-1. There was half an hour to go. I thought, it's never going to stay 2-1. And we're texting each other back forward. And I went, you're never going to believe this.
Couple of idiots.
I was actually willing the bet not to give it at that point.
I know, me too.
Unless somebody else has put it on, then
if anyone listened to us last week, I hope you weighed in at 7.91, made a few quid, unlike us 2 idiots. But listen, we're going to do it again because obviously we're now serious. We're now becoming professional gamblers now.
Of course.
We're professional tipsters.
Pressure.
So, Gav, right, give us, where's the money coming this weekend, Gav? Come on, give us another winner.
I think the semi-final on Sunday, Celtic Rangers at Hampden, I find it fascinating. It's got all the elements. You've got Martin O'Neill back, as we say, more than twice the age of Danny Rohl in the opposite dugout.
Yeah.
It's got so much, so many intriguing factors. I don't have a strong feeling either way on how the game will go, but I do think Rangers odds are too big. They were actually 72 earlier in the week. They've come in a bit. They're more than 3-1. I don't think Celtic on current form should be 46, 47, whatever they are. They're all doing. I think that's the wrong price. So I'm going to go for Rangers to win, but to add a bit more value with both teams to score, which is 5-1. I think it could be a bit of a bonkers game, and I think, as I say, I just think it's the wrong price for. I think they're closer than that.
Yeah,
I think the teams
and
are closer than that.
very rarely do both teams not score in these games either.
Yeah.
You're right.
So 5-1.
Right, I'm going to. Well, we're beating the whistle there. We're rabbit away, but I'm going to go to the FA Cup early. Is it the first round of the FA Cup down in England? So a lot of kind of non-league teams sitting there. I'm going to the biggest outsider of the whole lot. It's the Malden and Tiptree from the Isthmian League in Essex, Isthmian League North, which is the 8th tier of English football. They're playing at Port Vale in League One. So there's 5 divisions between them. They're managed by, remember Kevin Horlock, Man City? Yeah, Kevin Horlock's the manager. Yeah, he's the Maldron and Tiptree, which sounds like a pub, doesn't it, really? Pub leagues, not that. I think it's 16-1. There's always a wee romance of the cup, 61. But I'm also going to throw in this one because I think this weekend the cup, because we need to get the cup. I'll get cursed. My colleagues in the media will curse me for even saying the word, but I think that both of these ties could go all the way to the dreaded spot kicks. So I'm thinking, I watched it Mirren beat Hearts on penalty kicks. They were deadly. I've seen Jack Butland saving penalties. Celtic losing the Scottish Cup in penalties. I'm going to go for a St Mirren Rangers both to win on penalties. 160-41. Take that to the bookies, folks. And I will definitely putting it on this week because I'm not sitting here next week with my head in my hands having missed a chance of another bumper bet coming in. So, happy with that?
Very happy with that, yeah.
Right, anyway, we're away to Carver Tumshies. Get ready for tonight's guising. That's for anyone asks it. For the young team wonder what a tumshi is. None of this pumpkin nonsense. We had to carve a tumshi. Remember how hard that was?
Tumshi. No, I did it.
You ever tried to carve a tumshi?
No.
Oh, turn up, try to get it. Oh, Jesus.
All right, no.
Need a chainsaw to get into it. I mean, a wee tatty peeler.
So that must be one of the young ones you're referring to.
Oh, well. That's a good middle-aged caution you're going then. You're only 22. But listen, thank you for watching as always. You can catch us on the usual socials, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Apple Podcast, a lot. We'll be back next week for more of the same old nonsense. Thanks again.
Thank you.